Okay, how's everybody doing? Let's go and get started here. And we're going to talk about question 13 is actually our assignment. This particular question, and in this one, luckily, it's a not too bad. It's pretty easy one for the most part. We're asked to fill out a series of costs of goods sold sections for companies B, M, O, and S. We need to fill in the letter blanks to complete the cost of goods sold section. So the most important thing we want to remember when we're doing this is that there's a couple formulas that we have available to us to kind of help us figure this out and make this pretty easily. And in fact, there's 4 of them. Now, if you check the text, if there's also the link to the text if you go to the actual bottom of that question, it'll take you to a page and it gives you all these formulas. So they're nice and handy to have. So you got the cost of goods available here. That equals the beginning inventory plus the cost of goods purchased. Cost of goods sold equals the cost of goods available for sale minus the ending inventory. Net purchases equal the purchases minus purchases, returns, and allowances, and minus purchase discounts, which we don't have purchase discounts, I don't believe, in this one. Yep. And cost of goods purchased equals the net purchases plus the freight. So if we have these formulas here, we can figure out all the stuff that we need to. In fact, these first couple ones are really straightforward. There's nothing to really to worry about. So we go here, we're trying to figure out what our net purchases are for company B. And if we go and check our formula over here, net purchases equals purchases minus the purchasing returns and allowances minus purchasing discounts, which we don't have purchasing discounts. We don't have to worry about that. So to do that, to figure out what our net purchases are, is we're going to take our purchases here, right up here, and we're just going to minus the purchases and return allowances. Oops, no, that's not what I meant to do. Well, let's try that again. Okay, minus our purchase and allowances. And that gives us 1,874. Now, if we're looking at cost of goods purchased over here, we got it down here, which is net purchases plus freight. So we're going to go net purchases plus our freight. And that gives us a number of 2,046. And then if we go down here to cost of goods sold, we can go over on this side, and we got cost of goods available for sale minus ending inventory. So cost of goods available minus ending inventory. So we're going to go cost of goods available minus ending inventory. That gives us the final answer of 1,967. So that one's pretty straight. That's pretty straightforward. The rest are also, they're not as straightforward, but they're still pretty easy if we just make sure we're paying attention on here. So we need to find the purchase returns and allowances. Now, there's not a formula directly for that, but we have a formula for our net purchases over here. And if we remember, that's our purchases minus the purchase returns and allowances. So if we were to take our net purchase, right, and add our purchases, sorry, not add our purchases. Let me do that the right way. Sorry. If we take our purchases and minus our net purchases, then we get our $53, which is what's going to be our purchase and return allowances. So we're just basically working that formula there. All right, let's see here. And we're going to go, actually, did I do that backwards? I believe I probably did, just right there. No, that's right. No, that's right there. Okay, sorry. Okay, and once again, we need to figure out our freight. And once again, there's no direct formula for freight, but we see our freight right here. Our cost of goods purchases equals our net plus our freight. So if we were to take our cost of goods purchases and minus our net purchases, that's, if we were to, do a formula on both sides and move it over, that's how you get to there. We get $251. And if we go to our ending inventory, this is very similar to what we did before. Just like we had with our cost of goods sold, we're going to take our, we're going to take our cost of goods sold minus our cost of goods available minus our cost of goods sold, and that's going to give us our ending inventory. Okay, now we're going to move on to our team or O over here. So now we need to figure out purchases. This is not too dissimilar from the previous one. We've got our net purchases. We got our returned allowances. So we're going to go and this is going to be our total number here. And remember, we're minusing here. So this is in addition to. So we want to take that plus that to get our number up here. So 10,164. If we follow that formula, if we were to take that minus 383, then we get 9,781, right? Okay, so we got our freight again. And this is very similar. We just did that over there. So that's going to be our cost of good purchased minus our net purchases. And that gives us our freight right there. So that should all add up and all make sense. And if we go down to cost of goods available, this one is a little bit different here. Remember, we're talking about, we're minusing these here. These normally you take your cost of good available minus your ending inventory, and that gives you your cost of goods service. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our ending inventory plus our cost of goods sold, and that gives us our number there. Okay, on number S, we have to do this one a little bit different because in order to figure out beginning inventory, we've got to figure out some other stuff below it. So we're actually going to skip beginning inventory to start it, and we're going to do purchases returned and allowances. And so that one, we've actually done something like that just right over there. All right, so that's not a big deal. So we're going to take our purchases, and we're going to, we are going to, sorry, my brain's not working there, minus our net purchases, and that's going to give us our difference there. Once again, that's the same thing. If we're trying to figure out net purchases, that is our purchases right over here minus our purchases and returns, and that gives us that right number. Okay, now we're going to go do our cost of goods purchased. And on this one, this is a little bit different. This one is actually the straight formula here, if I remember correctly. Yeah, so we're just going to take our cost of good purchase, sorry, is right down here. So our net purchases plus our freight. So we're going to go net purchases plus our freight. That gives us that. So now that we have our cost of good purchased, we can actually go back up and figure out beginning inventory. Now, the only formula we have that involves beginning inventory is the cost of goods available. And that's what we were figuring out. Our cost of good purchase. We have the cost of good available, which is beginning inventory plus cost of good purchased. So we had to figure out the cost of good purchased in order to go back and figure out what our beginning inventory is, right? So we're going to take, let's see here, our cost of good purchased right there. Okay, so equals cost of good purchased minus our cost of goods available. Oops, I did that backwards. I did that. Fix that. So we're going to take cost of good available minus our cost of good purchase. I have a tendency to do that backwards. So we get 6,600. So let me just double check this. I have my answers prepared earlier. Just make sure I didn't lead any of you astray. Make sure my answers match up here just so nobody's getting that wrong or I didn't do any of my formulas wrong. And it would look like, I think we're right on all of those. Okay, so let me open that up there. So go ahead and take a look at that. If you need to write down any of those numbers, hopefully you get a chance here. It's pretty easy enough. Once again, if you just look, if you have the formulas right there on the right, take a look at those. With those formulas, you can figure out any of those, and it's not too difficult. If you have any questions or anything, just list them below. I'll try to copy and paste these formulas, put it in the post, so that way you don't have to go digging through those if that's easier for you guys. Once again, any questions, post them below. I'll make sure I'm answering them. All right, guys, have a good night. Let me get this stopped here. And there we go.